Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening. It's Thursday, August 26th. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Deadly blasts claim American lives in Afghanistan. This as families and friends here at home await word on the fate of service members there and local students still stuck behind. But as KPBS's Alexandra Rangel reports, there is good news tonight. Some of those students are back in the U.S.
Back here, we're waiting for them. We're anxious for them.
The Cajon Valley School District says one of their families returned home to El Cajon Wednesday. That family has 5 children, 4 of which attend the school district.
They are here in El Cajon. They're resting. We're waiting for them to be well again, and we're hoping that their students can rejoin their classrooms soon.
Tamara Otero is the governing board president at Cajon Valley. She says they were notified that about 24 of their students were stranded in Afghanistan following the Taliban's takeover. Since then, it's been a battle to get their students home, most of whom were visiting family over summer break. The district received word Thursday that 2 more families were out of danger.
We do know of 2 more families that are out of Afghanistan and that are safe. I can't tell you any more about where they are. They're not in El Cajon yet, but they are safe.
Congressman Darrell Issa is working with the school district and has been in contact with the families in Afghanistan. In a statement released Thursday regarding the rescued families, Issa said, "While we have made extraordinary progress, there are so many more Americans stranded in Afghanistan. We have more work to do and under extremely difficult conditions." With tensions growing higher in Kabul, it's unclear when the remaining 5 families will return. But Issa says he's working with the Pentagon and the White House to help them evacuate. And back at home, Cajon Valley anxiously awaits their safe return.
We love you. We think of you often. You're in our hearts. And we'll do what we can to support you.
Alexandra Rangel, KPBS News.
And now to those deadly attacks. Latest numbers show 12 U.S. service members killed, 15 more injured. President Biden late today calling the Marines lost are the best of America and vowing to make who did this pay. More now from Isabel Rosales.
Disturbing images of people crying for help outside Kabul's airport in the aftermath of at least 2 confirmed blasts.
We are working very hard right now to determine attribution, to determine who is associated with this cowardly attack, and we're prepared to take action against them.
Chaos nearby as the explosions send crowds running. U.S. officials warned of an increased threat level in the hours leading up to the attack.
The word has gone out to individuals, Americans, green card holders, and some others, telling them to stay away from certain specific gates. So that sounds like a specific threat to me.
One explosion took place at a hotel near the airport. Another at the Abbey Gate entrance, where Afghans have gathered for the last 2 weeks, desperate to escape the Taliban-controlled nation.
It's going to be tough getting more evacuees in. We're probably going to see an increased reduction in the numbers that are getting out of Afghanistan.
The U.S. military and NATO have already evacuated thousands of U.S. citizens and vulnerable Afghans. Those efforts are set to wind down ahead of the August 31st deadline for the final exit from the 20-year war in Afghanistan.
It is a dangerous and difficult mission, but it must be seen through, and we intend to see it through as best as we can.
In Washington, Isabel Rosales, KPBS News.
Finishing the job and protecting the homeland. That's what the Secretary of Defense says is behind his coronavirus vaccination mandate for service members. KPBS's health reporter Matt Hoffman has details on how military officials will get everyone shots in San Diego.
Here at Naval Medical Center San Diego, preparations are underway to vaccinate the remaining military members here in San Diego. That includes Marines and sailors. Now, all this happening after the Secretary of Defense ordered mandatory vaccinations for all service members. A spokesperson for the medical center here says teams will use shot exercises on the pier in San Diego and out in the field for Marines at Camp Pendleton, as well as our local military hospitals and clinics to vaccinate everyone. Navy officials saying they are prepared to execute up to 7,000 shots per day between Camp Pendleton and San Diego. Sailors and Marines can be vaccinated at other military medical facilities, and they can also use the same sites open to civilians. But if they choose to do that, they'll have to provide proof of vaccination to leadership. Now, there's more than 100,000 active duty military here, but keep in mind coronavirus vaccines have been available for service members for months now, but not all have elected to get them. The Secretary of Defense says the mandate is necessary to keep a healthy and ready force, calling this operation one that will finish the job. Service members are no strangers to vaccinations, and military officials say under this mandate they will only be using vaccines fully approved by the FDA. And keep in mind right now that only includes the Pfizer vaccine.
On the active duty force, 68% is fully vaccinated, and we estimate that just over 76% have at least one dose. Once you mandate it, as we've done, it's a lawful order. It's a lawful order. And we fully anticipate that, our troops are going to follow lawful orders.
The Secretary of Defense says he wants all service members vaccinated in a, quote, ambitious timeline with regular status reports. As it stands here at the medical center, officials are just waiting for some more guidance as far as how to proceed with this vaccination mandate. Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.
When classes start on Monday at San Diego Unified Schools, students will be required to wear masks indoors and out unless they are eating. KPBS education reporter MG Perez has more on parents and students demanding COVID-19 protections at school.
Janet Gerardo is getting her first shot of the Pfizer vaccine. She's a nurse assistant, mother of 3 young children, with another baby on the way. And she survived a bad case of COVID last November.
And it was scary because I was seeing a lot of people dying.
The Family Health Services Center here in Logan Heights has a steady line of people every day getting vaccinated and being treated for COVID-19 symptoms. Janet knows she has to protect her young children who start school on Monday.
My 10-year-old, my 7-year-old, they know what we're going through right now with the whole pandemic. They know they have to wear masks, and they know they have, I'm obviously going to offer them to have hand sanitizer, so to use it when they're out or before lunch and wash their hands.
Clinics and hospitals continue to fill with COVID patients, and the politics of COVID isn't going away either. But there are some new voices who want to be heard. This virtual news conference this afternoon has some adult faces on the Zoom screen, but it's the young people who have the most to say.
We absolutely will not sit by as anti-vaccine extremists infect our schools and school board meetings and create environments which make it unsafe for us to be with our fellow students.
Aaron Parsa is founder of the Teens for Vaccines organization, which has chapters across the country. These are young people creating community to stop the spread of COVID, starting with an education for their parents and the politicians.
Friends, why is my right to safety and education less valuable than if Greg Abbott wins or loses the 2020 election? Why am I the one sitting at home because others refuse to wear masks?
I'm sad that not enough students have figured it out yet, but I'm hopeful because more and more students are learning how to raise their voice, how to make themselves heard, and how to shape their own future.
These voices bring hope for the future, which includes Janet Gerardo's children and so many others looking to life after the pandemic. MG Perez, KPBS News.
San Diego County is recommending everyone mask up indoors, but is stopping short of issuing a mandate. While vaccinated people don't have to wear a face covering in most public settings, the California Department of Public Health updated its guidance to strongly encourage masking indoors regardless of vaccination status. Masks are required on public transportation, at K-12 schools and child care centers, as well as health care settings. We are tracking the latest developments on the pandemic at kpbs.org. For everything from local case numbers to vaccination locations, click on the Tracking COVID-19 link on our homepage. Large destructive wildfires have been tearing through large swaths of Northern California for weeks. The biggest one now is the Caldor fire, burning over 136,000 acres near Lake Tahoe. CAL FIRE says it's the state's #1 priority, and firefighters from across San Diego County have been answering the call to help. And now, as KPBS reporter John Carroll tells us, 2 San Diegans are on their way to offer help of a different kind.
Some of the most beautiful forest in California on fire. This video was shot by firefighters from San Diego Fire Rescue a few weeks ago while they were helping knock down the Dixie Fire. Now, the big challenge is the Caldor fire. Nearly 137,000 acres burned over 213 square miles around Lake Tahoe. And along with the disaster that has meant for people, it's also been a nightmare for animals. So, just like when the call goes out for help from firefighters, a similar call has now gone out for help with the critters. The San Diego Humane Society answered the call, providing 2 out of 10 animal control officers requested from across the state. Officers Joy Ollinger and Sandra Anderson packed up their stuff and headed out early this morning. They'll hit the ground running once they arrive, ready to help in a variety of ways.
Welfare checks, animal bites, daily food and care with animal husbandry, as well as our officers are ready and equipped to do any cruelty investigations. Officers Ollinger and Anderson will be in the fire region for the next 10 days, helping the most vulnerable among us, the animals. John Carroll, KPBS News.
Warm summer days, they are continuing for us. Really no stopping it as we head through the weekend. Monsoonal moisture, that's all going to stay east into parts of New Mexico and Colorado. And we are talking about maybe getting in on some rain chances heading into next week from Nora's moisture. A lot going on, but for now, we are quiet tonight and more of our typical 68 for the low in San Diego, 61 in Oceanside. Borrego Springs holding on to the mid-80s overnight. A few marine clouds out there for us. As we go into tomorrow, the heat is persisting. We still have a lot of smoky conditions through the Sierra Nevadas and into parts of Nevada itself. But our story is just the hot, the dry weather. Again, summertime persisting. We are going to be at 81 for San Diego, 82 in Chula Vista. And as you look towards Mount Laguna, mid-80s there. Ramona coming in at 98. And I talked about Nora's moisture. Nora is actually a Pacific storm working its way northward, and as it does so, strengthening to hurricane before possibly making landfall around Cabo. Either way, it'll weaken in the cooler waters and start to try to feed in some moisture possibly as early as Monday. So next week, we'll be talking about at least some rain chances out there, mostly off to some of our eastern regions. That'll be the best chance. It's a possibility that some of this moisture does get spread into parts of the southwestern U.S. So it could be a nice benefit for us if we can see some of those showers. Until then, though, coast remaining dry here through the weekend. Fog giving way to sunshine out there. Temperatures holding on to the 80s. As we work our way through our inland locations, notice we're going to be in the mid-90s for the start of the weekend, cooling off as we head into Monday and Tuesday. So there is a slightly cooler trend out there heading into the next week. But it does come with a shower or thunderstorm around in some of the mountains. Again, some of Nora's moisture coming in as we make it to the mid-70s. Our desert locations staying pretty quiet through the weekend, then cooling off a little bit as a shower or thunderstorm chance comes in for the afternoon. For KPBS News, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Melissa Constanzer.
San Diegans could soon be paying more for water and wastewater services. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen has more on the rate proposal and an unlikely way it could be stopped.
If you live in San Diego and pay your own water and sewer bills, you should have gotten a mailer recently from the city government. It was easy to miss, but it has important details on how much the city wants to raise its rates. And on the last page, there's a form you can sign and send to the city clerk protesting the changes. This is mandated by the 1996 ballot measure Proposition 218. Adam Jones with the city's Public Utilities Department says if a majority of ratepayers turn those protests in, the rate proposal is dead in the water.
This council doesn't deliberate. They don't talk about it after the public hearing of hearing all of the feedback from the public. Everything ends, and the department has to go back to the drawing board and see what additional things we may do.
For this to happen, though, more than 130,000 protest slips would have to be turned in. The last rate hike saw only about 20,000. So what would happen if the new rates aren't approved? Well, the water San Diego buys from its wholesalers is getting more expensive, so the department would eventually run out of money. And sewer rates haven't gone up in almost a decade. Jones says right now they're just not covering the costs of maintaining the system.
So you're talking pipeline replacements, repair and replacement of pump stations, treatment plants. We've reached the point where our financial metrics aren't where they need to be.
Under the proposal, wastewater rates would actually get cheaper for businesses and residents who live in apartments or condos. That's because the city determined it wasn't fair for those customers to pay higher rates than people in single-family homes. The rate changes are due for a city council vote on September 21st. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
Vice President Kamala Harris has canceled her visit to the Bay Area to campaign for Governor Gavin Newsom as he faces a recall effort. Republican candidates hoping to unseat the governor have been campaigning there as well. Here's Tim Johns.
With just 20 days left until Californians head to the polls for the recall election, many of the candidates are running full speed ahead towards the finish line. There were two Republican contenders in the Bay Area on Wednesday. Former San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer held a rally in the East Bay, where he received an endorsement from Crime Victims United. And Caitlyn Jenner was in San Francisco touring the city's Tenderloin district. She talked about everything from homelessness to drug addiction to fixing the economy.
If you have lower taxes, less regulations, you build a pro-business environment. I believe in the people of California, not the people in Sacramento.
Jenner has struggled to gain traction in the polls, but she says the issues are what matter and believes voters are sick of the policies of Governor Newsom.
We need to come up with solutions, and we need to do it faster. To be honest with you, this will not be the Golden State any longer.
While Jenner was here in San Francisco, across the bay in Oakland, several Democrats got together to support Governor Newsom and attack his opponents. No recall! Top of their list was GOP frontrunner Larry Elder.
Is perpetuating anti-vaxxer conspiracy theorists. He believes climate change is a hoax. He wants to take us back to the 1950s.
Democrats like Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf framed the recall itself as a right-wing power grab and slammed it as a waste of taxpayer money.
You are voting no on eliminating a minimum wage. You are voting no on taking away choice. You are voting no on taking away life-saving health orders.
And a reminder, Election Day is Tuesday, September 14th, but early voting is underway right now. There will be 221 voting locations as well as 130 mail ballot drop-off locations. So far, the San Diego County Registrar of Voters has received over 300,000 mail-in ballots. You can find out more at sdvote.com. The Wonderfront Music and Arts Festival has been put off again because of surging COVID cases. The four-day festival on the San Diego Bay waterfront was slated to happen this November, but organizers decided to postpone it until November of 2022. This is the second time the pandemic has led to the festival's postponement. Media Arts Center's Digital Gym Cinema left its space on El Cajon Boulevard last August and moved all its film programming online because of COVID-19. But during this downtime, they have been prepping a new space in conjunction with UC San Diego that will open in late fall. KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando took a tour.
Okay, this is pretty exciting, Moises. We are entering what's going to be the new Digital Gym Cinema.
Yes.
Of course, we entered through the outdoor. That's not going to be where people come in.
Yeah, it's the emergency exit, but we had to do it because we're under construction for the time being. But yeah, this is the new Digital Gym Cinema.
So where is it?
Yeah, it's in downtown San Diego, the intersection of Park and Market, UCSD's newest building, and we're just really excited by this entire project. We used to be on El Cajon Boulevard. That was the Digital Gym Cinema's former home, and now we're here downtown, and I'm just beyond elated. I mean, as you can see, it's all under construction, so maybe from the angle of the camera it doesn't look like a cinema, but from where you and I are standing, we can definitely see the work in progress.
So this is going to be the screen.
Yeah, this is going to be the screen. The speakers will be behind. It's going to be kind of like floor to ceiling screen. The seats will obviously be opposite the screen. It'll be really kind of state-of-the-art facility. In my wildest dreams, I never thought that I'd be able to see and assist with the development of a cinema space. It's really a dream come true. So we're really excited. Yes, it'll be about 66 seats, which is an increase of seats from our former space. So we're getting 20 seats. If you remember, at the former space, we had an awkward entrance where we would enter at the front of the screen, but this time you're going to be entering through the rear, so the image quality will not be interrupted by blinding lights. So we're definitely improving what we used to have, but we're going to honor the type of programming that we used to have at the former space here at UCSD.
And you're also getting an upgrade on all sorts of levels because you're going to have a new lobby space, concessions. You're in this is a 4-story building where there's going to be other event spaces as well. So how is all that seeming?
We're going to have great concessions, a lobby space that we can activate with special events, obviously the cinema, which we're discussing, and the building's just going to have all sorts of amenities that will allow us to not only program events here in the cinema, but in the different sort of other communal spaces activated to us or available to us. And then our offices are actually going to be in the same building, and there's going to be a great circular stairwell leading into the space. So it's going to be such a great kind of like introduction to our space for people who are seeing it for the first time. I'm really excited.
So Moises, just walking around the construction site, things are not finished, but you can see a lot of nice design elements going on.
Yeah, they're really going to be extraordinary, the design elements. Right now we're in you can't really tell from where I'm standing, but it's a circular space. It's going to be really aesthetically pleasing, and there's going to be activations on the walls themselves, so it's going to feel like a very interactive space. And again, just thrilled to be in such a beautifully designed building.
I know some people may be a little concerned about moving downtown because parking is always an issue, but you have some public transit benefits being where you are.
Yeah, I mean, the trolley station is not even a block away. It's super close to the new UCSD building, so people can access it via public transit if it's not the trolley bus. Also, we're around several parking structures that are available to our customers. So I hope we don't intimidate individuals with their new location.
The new Digital Gym Cinema is scheduled to open in late October at the UC San Diego at Park and Market building, which will also provide office space, galleries, and a versatile 200-plus seat venue. From the construction site and imagining the possibilities, this is Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
Seaworld San Diego is getting ready to open its dive coaster this spring. Seaworld says the Emperor will be the tallest, fastest, and longest dive coaster in California. It's named after the world's largest penguin, and it's meant to mimic the species' underwater diving ability. The park released this teaser video of the ride climbing up to 153 feet. Announcing it will open in March of 2022. The coaster was supposed to open in the summer of 2020, but was delayed by the pandemic. Our summer music series continues tonight with renowned DJ, event curator, and music producer DJ Artistic. Over the past 2 decades, he has earned a reputation as a community builder and architect of the San Diego hip-hop scene. Take a listen.
Hip-hop is important for so many reasons. The unity, the individualism, the art, the music, the dance, the graffiti, the can art, the DJing, the entrepreneurialism, just bringing all these different cultures together, different religions, different backgrounds, to one common cause to keep building upon something that has been so great for us, which is hip-hop. So as an event curator, I'm looking to give someone an experience. A lot of times people go out and they're missing something and they don't know what they need. So our events are to give you a hug, to give you the opportunity to get on stage, express your art, build with other people, and simply grow the scene. So it's important to give back and give people a platform, because I know what it's like not to have a platform to do my art. So I'm one of those people that'll go out and seek a venue, create a relationship. Hopefully they see the vision of what we're trying to do. And if that comes to light, I want to share it with everyone, because we're stronger together as a unit. And unity is a community, so it's real important that it's reciprocated for the culture to grow. I've seen people like Aloe Black play on our stage. People like Madlib play on our stage, even Gas Lamp Killer. So those are 3 people that have gotten humongous, that we helped in the beginning of their career by having a platform for them. And we also got the benefit by them being at the venue, and people come out to see them, but then get exposed to some San Diego talent.
And DJ Artistic will perform at Jam Diego Silent Disco on Friday, tomorrow, at Courtyard downtown. Go to kpbs.org/summer music series for the full interview. And that's it for Evening Edition. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, proud to support the mission of KPBS and privileged to serve San Diego clients. Anderson Plumbing, Heating and Air, helping homeowners maintain drain, heating, and cooling systems since 1978. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley. And by the following: and by viewers like you. Thank you.